Susan is at the headquarters of the AFL-CIO in Northwest Washington right now. That's where Nelson Mandela is expected within the hour. Susan?
Yes, and people are anxiously awaiting his arrival here at the AFL-CIO headquarters on 16th Street. There's a little variation of that labor sign that says union yes. Inside, people are holding signs that say union yes, apartheid no. The labor movement has long been an ally of Nelson Mandela, and in this town, when demonstrations began at the South African embassy, the labor movement provided many of the people who protested and who were sent to jail. Now, right now, Nelson Mandela...
Everywhere Nelson Mandela went, American workers shouted their appreciation for the man who has devoted his life to winning freedom in South Africa. And Mandela, in turn, expressed his appreciation for the steadfast support of the American labor movement in opposing apartheid and helping to build free trade unions in his country.
It is sufficient for me to say that we regard it as an honor for us to be welcomed by the labor movement of the United States of America, which has an established record of commitment to the struggle by the people of South Africa against apartheid. That support has given considerable strength and muscle to our struggle. And the fact that today we are close to the day of liberation is due very largely to the support that we have received here. In jail and behind the thick prison walls, we could hear loud and clear your voice calling for our release. Sisters and brothers, friends and comrades, the man who is speaking is not a stranger here. The man who is speaking is a member of the UAW.
In planning his American tour, Mandela made sure he met with American workers and labor leaders to thank them for their support. This emphasis on labor was picked up by the news media, which covered Mandela's tour extensively and recounted the long history of labor's involvement in the anti-apartheid movement.
So earlier today, Mr. Mandela was meeting with the Executive Council of the AFL-CIO. That mighty labor union is making it clear that it's very proud of its long history of support for the anti-apartheid struggle. When AFL-CIO President Lane Kirkland greeted Mandela, he called him Brother Mandela, and he said apartheid is doomed and freedom is coming to South Africa. He proudly points out that his union's support of economic sanctions dates back to a call for a boycott of South African products in 1959.
Keeping up his grueling schedule, Nelson Mandela is scheduled to speak later this evening with representatives from the AFL-CIO. J.C. Hayward is standing by live at the labor group's headquarters in Northwest Washington. J.C., has Nelson Mandela arrived?
He will be arriving momentarily. Everything is in place. Standing outside the AFL-CIO building with me is John Sturtevant. He is the national president of the American Federation of Federal Employees, government employees affiliated with the AFL-CIO. He represents more than 770,000 members. You're quite excited about the meeting that's about to take place. Why?
I'm excited, and we're all excited. This is a real momentous occasion. Mr. Mandela has graced us with his presence. It recognizes the role that the AFL-CIO has played in South Africa for the past 40 years. It also sends a message that American labor can change the conditions of workers around the world. So it's pretty exciting.
What do you expect him to ask of you and your workers?
I think that Mr. Mandela wants us to continue to keep the pressure on South Africa, to continue to push for, make sure that the sanctions stay there, to continue to make sure that they know that American labor, the AFL-CIO, is behind them, is behind the South African workers until they are free.
When Mandela met with American labor leaders at an executive council meeting at the AFL-CIO, He had his chance to thank the Unionists for their nights in jail, their years of demonstration and fundraising, and union leaders had a chance to ask Mandela how they could continue to help.
What we seek from the international community, and in particular from the labor movement, is help in skills and expertise. The labor movement in the USA is one of the strongest in the world. And they have immense experience in the very organization of trade unions.
Traveling with Mandela was Chris Delamini, Vice President of the Congress of South African Trade Unions.
The AFL-CIO as a federation should try to encourage its affiliate to have bilateral relationship with their sister unions in South Africa, so that they are able to share ideas and they are able to put forward their request on whatever they would want it to do in South Africa.
At this hour, Mandela is meeting with AFL-CIO labor leaders. Now, from them, he can expect another warm and enthusiastic reception. News 4's business editor Jennifer Moore joins us now with word that the unions have long lent their support to anti-apartheid efforts.
Now, they have, Rich. For decades, major unions have been involved in anti-apartheid movement in this country. Much like their support of Lech Wałęsa and the Solidarity Labor Front in Poland, they see the anti-apartheid battle as a natural for union members to be involved with, to back both fellow union members and as a social cause involving basic civil rights. The struggle takes place a half a world away, and yet for the UAW and other unions, the fight is one that calls for solidarity.
Among the anti-apartheid activities recalled by the media were the 1986 labor boycott of Shell Oil Corporation, led by UAW President Owen Bieber and United Mine Workers President Rich Strumka, the 200-plus labor leaders who were arrested while demonstrating at the South African embassy, and the release of imprisoned South African labor leader Moses Mayakiso.
Nelson Mandela asked U.S. labor unions today to keep up their support for South Africa's anti-apartheid movement. Speaking in Miami Beach, Mandela thanked a public employees union for working to stop the investment of pension funds in companies that do business in South Africa.
Sisters and brothers,
the union crowd loved it. For decades, AFSCME has supported Mandela's anti-apartheid struggle. Here he was today in person, thanking them for all their years of financial and moral support.
we know too well that the working masses you represent have through the years been at the forefront of the anti-apartheid struggle in this country. They have known us when very few thought of our people as human beings. We will always remember you, not only for the unswerving support that you have given us all these years. We will remember you for the fact that you have had the generosity, the greatness to receive us and at least to enable us to have the opportunity of saying thank you to you. Remember, please remember that we admire you, we respect you, and above all, we love you.
From city to city and coast to coast, Nelson Mandela tirelessly thanked American workers for their years of commitment to the anti-apartheid struggle. And in each city, his heartfelt thanks was always met with the promise for continued support.
Keep the pressure on. Keep the pressure on. Keep the pressure on. Keep the pressure on. Keep the pressure on.
We will support, as we have for years, these sanctions. We'll support their strengthening. until apartheid joined segregation in the dustbin of history.